Keanu Reeves notices a lonely girl buying diapers, follows her home and breaks down. After Keanu Reeves found a lonely girl buying diapers at Walmart, he brought her and her little brother to the authorities, thinking the worst was over. But soon, he uncovered the true struggles these children were facing and the haunting truth behind their mother's neglect. Before we dive into part 2 of this incredible story, leave a comment letting us know where you're watching from, and if you enjoy this video, don't forget to subscribe. The fluorescent lights at the police station buzzed softly, casting sharp shadows across the weary faces of those present. The clock on the wall read 1:15 a.m. as Keanu Reeves stepped through the glass doors, following two groups of officers. The night air still clung to him, stark against the sterile atmosphere inside. Ahead, the first group escorted a black woman with intricately braided hair and a white man with long, shoulder-length blonde hair. Keanu recognized them as the mother of the children he had helped earlier that evening and her boyfriend. The pair was being led toward the booking area, their footsteps echoing in the otherwise quiet hallway. The second group guided the two small children, a 5-year-old girl and an 18-month-old boy, to a separate room. Keanu had learned their names were Lila and June. An officer mentioned they would soon meet with a child welfare worker. As Keanu followed the children and their escort down the corridor, his gaze lingered on the booking area, where the mother and her boyfriend were being processed. Officers asked for names, dates of birth, and addresses, their voices methodical. The soft whir of an electronic fingerprinting machine mixed with the occasional flash of a camera as mug shots were taken. Catherine Holson. Date of birth: September 15, 1996, an officer called out, reading from a form. Keanu's brow furrowed. 28 years old, he thought. So young to be the mother of two. The realization added to the tragedy of the situation unfolding before him. In the separate room, a woman with kind eyes and a professional demeanor greeted them. "Hello, I'm Rachel Nennies, the child welfare worker assigned to this case," she said, her voice gentle yet authoritative. The room's muted colors and comfortable furniture were a stark contrast to the harshness of the booking area. Keanu sat down on a leather sofa beside the children, offering them silent support. Rachel began, "I've been briefed by the police while we waited for your arrival." She paused, her eyes shifting between Keanu and the children. "We have some difficult decisions to make about the children's immediate future." The weight of her words filled the room. Lila, her small face etched with worry, looked up at Rachel. In broken English, she voiced the question hanging in the air. "Mom going jail?" The innocence of her inquiry made the gravity of the situation even more poignant. Rachel knelt to Lila's level, her voice soft and reassuring. "The police are going to help your mom, sweetie. They'll decide what's best for everyone." Keanu, ever the grounding presence, gently placed a hand on Lila's shoulder, offering comfort to her and her little brother, who clung tightly to her side. As the night wore on, the reality of their situation weighed heavily. Exhausted, the children leaned against Keanu, their small bodies warm beside him. He couldn't help but wonder how a simple trip to the store had led to this moment, one that would forever alter the lives of these young children and their troubled mother. The weight of the night's events hung heavy as Keanu turned to Rachel, his voice low with concern. "How long will the children need to stay in emergency foster care?" Rachel's expression turned somber as she explained the complexities of the situation. "Cases like this are never simple," she began, her tone gentle yet firm. "Given the evidence of long-term neglect, there's a chance Catherine could lose her parental right. If the police uncover signs of drug distribution or more severe neglect, we might be looking at rehabilitation, or even jail time, for her." Keanu nodded slowly, absorbing the gravity of what she'd said. His thoughts raced, searching for solutions, when an idea struck him. "I support an orphanage as a donor," he offered, his voice laced with hope. "It's a well-funded facility with excellent care. Could we transfer the children there, at least for tonight?" Rachel raised her eyebrows, intrigued. "That could be a great option. Do you have the name and address?" Keanu promptly shared the details for Sunnybrook Children's Home, located just outside the city. As Rachel began filling out the necessary paperwork, Keanu turned his attention to the children. Lila had nestled against him, her eyelids heavy with fatigue, while June was already asleep, his tiny body draped over the arm of the sofa. "It's going to be okay," Keanu murmured, more to himself than to the children. "We'll find you a safe place to rest tonight." As they waited, Lila stirred, her voice barely a whisper. "My teddy bear," she said, tears welling up in her eyes. "I forgot my teddy bear." Keanu leaned closer, his tone gentle. "Can you tell me about your teddy bear, Lila?" The little girl sniffled. "Daddy gave it to me before he went away. I can't sleep without it." Her simple request carried the weight of a cherished memory, and Keanu's heart ached for her. "I'll see what I can do," he promised, carefully extricating himself from her grasp. "You stay here with Rachel, okay? Don't go anywhere, I'll be right back." Stepping out into the bustling police station, Keanu felt the weight of his newfound responsibility. This wasn't just about a stuffed animal, it was about preserving a piece of Lila's fragile world. Spotting a familiar detective from earlier, he approached. "Excuse me," Keanu began, his voice steady but urgent. "I need a favor regarding the Holson children." The detective looked up, surprised to see him. "Mr. Reeves? What can I do for you?" Keanu quickly explained Lila's request for her teddy bear. "It might seem trivial, but it's important to her. Is there any way to recover it from their home?" The detective's expression softened. "We still have a team processing the scene. I'll radio them and ask them to look for the bear in the children's room. It shouldn't be a problem." Relief washed over Keanu. "Thank you. This will mean the world to her." The detective nodded, a small smile forming. "It's the least we can do. I'll have someone bring it here as soon as they find it." Returning to the room, Keanu found Rachel finalizing the paperwork. Lila looked up expectantly. "What about Teddy?" she asked, her voice trembling. "The officers are looking for it now," Keanu reassured her. "I promise I'll bring Teddy to you as soon as they find him. But for now, we need to get you to the orphanage. Can you be brave for me?" Lila hesitated, clutching his shirt. "Teddy needs me brave?" Keanu smiled gently. Inside, Catherine was whispering to her children, holding them close. Despite the challenges, a fragile hope hung in the air. When Catherine looked up at him, searching for news, Keanu shared what the detective had said. Relief washed over her face, followed by shock. "The teddy bear?" she whispered, trembling. I didn't know. I never touched it after." Her voice trailed off as her eyes fell on her kids. "It reminded me too much of Gerald, of everything we lost." Keanu leaned closer, his voice calm and reassuring. "This works in your favor, Catherine. It proves you weren't involved in Dennis's dealings. My lawyer will guide you through the legal process. We're here to help." Tears filled her eyes. "I don't deserve this kindness," she murmured, voice barely audible. "Not after all I've done." "Everyone deserves a second chance," Keanu said gently, placing a hand on her arm. "What matters now is what you do moving forward." Catherine nodded, wiping her eyes. She glanced at her children, determination replacing her earlier despair. "I'll do whatever it takes," she vowed. "I'll get clean, find a job, and be someone they can be proud of." "That's the spirit," Keanu encouraged. "It won't be easy, but you won't have to do it alone." Lila approached the bed hesitantly. "Mommy, are you coming home with us?" Catherine's heart broke at the question. Pulling Lila close, she explained gently, "Not just yet, sweetheart. Mommy needs to get better first. But I promise I'll work hard so we can all be together again." "Promise?" Lila whispered, her lower lip trembling. "I promise," Catherine said solemnly, her voice steady with resolve.